And it's Friki de Bici, riding my bici throughout the streets of Valencia, Spain. I'm only going to speak in English today, for the most part. I did a video the other day where it's pretty hard on myself for my performance speaking Spanish on camera or on video. I wasn't facing the camera. The other day, wasn't happy with the way it sounded. Not happy with my progress. I talked to my Spanish instructor about it this morning and told him what I experienced and what I thought, and I find it interesting. If you've ever tried learning a language, maybe you can relate. But when you're riding, it takes a certain amount of concentration, come to find out. Focus on the road and what's happening around you. And while I still believe my Spanish level or my Spanish proficiency in speaking could be better, I also know that this person is not sure where they're going. There we go. I also know that trying to ride a bike and speak Spanish at the same time probably wasn't the best idea. I found myself distracted quite a bit from the road because clearly my brain had to function differently than when I ride my bike and speak English. When I speak English, I'm pretty much on autopilot. And it made me remember what I used to do in Los Angeles, primarily for the last 6 months or so there. I would walk in LA. Nobody walks in LA, but I did. And I would just speak Spanish, noting what I saw around me and so forth and all of that. And every once in a while I'd stop at a intersection and look up, unsure of where I was. Like, oh, okay, I'm at the corner of whatever and whatever. One time I did a Spanish lesson on my phone walking around Los Angeles with my instructor. In fact, I did one of those here in Rusafa when we first arrived. And there were many times in those lessons where I completely had no idea where I was. I would just look up and be like, okay, now I've got my bearings. Of course, that would never happen during a conversation I'm having with somebody else on the phone while speaking in English. This isn't a thing. So it's an interesting observation, and it's all to say that trying to practice another language while you're riding a bike probably isn't the best way to go. You're adding another layer of complexity that, unless you're really far along, you're just not ready for. I'm sure for some people who aren't as comfortable riding, maybe speaking at all would be hard on the bike. But I have a pretty decent comfort level riding my bike in the streets, so speaking English at the same time is not much of a problem. Or at least I don't think it is. It's probably like distracted driving, right? People are like, I can text a little bit when I'm driving, I'm fine. Or I can drive after having this second beer or whatever. And the reality is you're actually more impaired than you know. Your instincts have just slowed to the point where it could be dangerous. It's an interesting thing, but it's definitely not a thing to mess with. That said, I don't feel like I'm messing with it by riding and speaking English. But when I try to speak Spanish, definitely. My instructor, who, you know what, I'll leave the link in the description below. His name is Jordi. He is Spanish, he's Catalan, and he is a great instructor. He's on the Preply platform, and I'll leave a referral link in the description below. So if you want to take Spanish lessons, you might consider doing it with Jordi. He's a hell of a guy. We met in person in Valencia on my birthday. So that was cool. But as he was saying to me this morning, it's all about muscle memory, and you just don't have it yet. I was telling him I feel so much more comfortable writing in Spanish than I do speaking in Spanish. He's like, well, yeah, you have time to reflect and you have time to think. He's right. A good example of just not being able to take what I'm thinking or what I want to say and put it into words in the moment happened in the market the other day. And this is also a story about how when you move abroad, especially if you're clearly from another place, especially if you don't speak the language or clearly don't speak it very well. See, maybe that was a case of talking and being distracted. Although I was also blocked by those parked cars. It's one of the blind spots here when you're riding your bike in Valencia. There are more blind spots, but also people tend to be going way, way, way more slowly. So you have more time to react and make sure that you don't get yourself into a really bad situation. But an example of, yeah, one of the challenges of living abroad and how it's not always perfect. Rusafa Market is right up the street from where we live, and I go there all the time. And I have found my regular stands, my regular puestos for fruits and vegetables. I go to El Basquet for chicken. I go to Manuel Crespo. And I forget the name of the stand I go to for olives, but these are all just super, super nice people. They're very conscientious about what they do, and they're also very encouraging to me as I attempt to speak Spanish with them. And often I'm telling them, hey, I'm learning, and that this process of talking to you on a regular basis is actually helping me. So, being the month of August in Spain, a lot of people are on vacation, like extended vacation. What you hear is not a myth or some sort of romanticization. It is the truth. The normal fruit and vegetable stand that I go to has been gone for 3 weeks now, and the chicken stand just went on vacation. They've been gone a week. Who knows how long they're going to be gone. All these stores are either closing earlier, probably to accommodate employee time off, and some are closing altogether for weeks, even for the entire month. This is not good. Woo! So my normal fruit and vegetable stand they're gone. Meaning I had to adapt and go to another one. And I went to another one the other day. I won't name it because I don't want to trash them, because I love this market and I want people to go to this market and have their own, hopefully good experience. But I was clearly overcharged by the guy at the market. I was charged 17 euros for some cherries and a cut of watermelon. Now, the place that I normally go to, I usually buy more, often considerably more. And I have only spent 17 euros one time. And it's not like these people are throwing out crappy fruit and vegetables. They're not. So I knew that this was either he's overcharging everybody, which means he's running the most premium stand in the market, something I have a hard time believing, or he was ripping me off. And I'm pretty certain that he was. So when he shows me that it's 17, of course, in the moment, I wanted to say, yeah, that's too much. I don't want this. But there was a part of me that is hesitant to do that here yet. I want to be polite. I just want to take what I get and move on. And then there was part of me that was unprepared to engage in a discussion about what was really happening. That being the fact that he was overcharging me. So I went home. I was upset. It's one of the few times I've been like that upset about something like this since we got here. But I was not happy. I was very upset. And I said, screw this. Like, I'm going back. This is not about being an American who's being rude or anything. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And he was wrong and I was right. And he needs to know that what he did isn't okay. That it's no way to do business. So I went back, and speaking in Spanish, I said it wrong, but I think he knew what I know. He knew what I meant. I told him I want my money back twice. And when he looked at me funny at first, I think it's because he didn't quite understand what I was saying. But then he got it, and still looked at me funny, and essentially gave me this look of why. And I said, you know why, you know why. And I told him I'm not a tourist, I live here. And then I go to the other stand and I pointed to it. We could both see it all the time. I always buy more, and never have I spent this much money. Like you overcharged me. Well, he wasn't giving me my money back. So I said, you know what? You can have it. And I just put the fruit and vegetables on the stand, and I said that I'm learning Spanish in Spanish, but then in English, you know what you did. You know what you did. And it's not okay. And I left. So later that morning, I saw the guy that runs the store downstairs from our apartment. We have a bench in front of our apartment and in front of his store, which one of us always seems to be sitting on when the weather isn't too hot. So that's a little running joke between us, but he's a really nice guy. He's from Madrid, and he obviously lives here in Valencia now and runs the store with his wife. And I told him what happened. Este chico en el mercado me cobró de más. Told him he was taking advantage of me in Spanish. I forget exactly how to say that now, and I'm on my bike, so I'll probably get into a crash if I try to figure it out. And he told me that it's not uncommon, he completely believes it, and told me the story of a guy from the Dominican Republic who speaks perfect Spanish, obviously, who went into the market and got some bad fish. And I might have missed exactly what he was saying. I don't know if he went back with this guy to the market to confront the lady who sold him the bad fish. But she's like, no, está bien, like it's fine. And clearly it wasn't fine, like it was bad fish. You know bad fish when you get bad fish. And they were effectively trying to pull it over on this guy because he looks different, speaks a different type of Spanish. He is not a Spaniard. And apparently that does happen. Now, thankfully, I would think that it's rare. The people that I go to and really enjoy going to are living proof that you're obviously going to find really cool people in the market who want your business and who do business the right way. But you're also going to find people that don't, that will take advantage of you for a few euros. I mean, I'm not going back to that stand, right? So what does this really accomplish? And if anybody asks me where to go in the market, it's not going to be there. But anyway, the guy downstairs at the store said to me, next time, tell me, dímelo. And if you tell me, I'll go with you and I'll talk to them because I speak Spanish. And I know people in the market, you know, like I'm 99% sure that's what he was saying. I know he said, tell me next time it happens and then I'll go with you. Which I thought was really cool. But it just confirms for me that I'm not crazy that this happens. In those moments, I just don't have the ability to express myself and say, hey, like, this is too expensive. I don't want this. What's the deal here? Or to question this person for what they did. I have to go back, gather my thoughts, and then of course I'm a little bit nervous, so even though I know what I want to say, I don't necessarily say it the right way. It's all very frustrating. By a mile, the most frustrating part of making the move is being in those types of situations where you have so much confidence in English. Maybe you have the normal nervousness that comes along with conflict. I hate conflict. I don't like doing those types of things. Especially because I worked in hospitality, I rarely say anything in a restaurant. There have been a couple of times where I have, and they sort of go down as those stories that you tell because it's just so rare. But even a light little situation like that, I just don't enjoy engaging in them in English. So imagine trying to do it in Spanish. So yeah, if you're moving abroad, my biggest advice to you, everything else is going to fall into place. The logistics, the administrative tasks you have to accomplish. Learning the language, faster you can do it, the better. Because even if you come here with conversational Spanish or even fluency, unless you are used to speaking Spanish in Spain, even in Valencia, it's going to be a bit of a transition. And it's probably the number one thing you need to pay attention to. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more, including talk about bike lanes, which we did the other day and we're going to do again in the next few days, because bike lanes are a hot topic around the world right now. ¿En realidad?